what's good people them? This is your boy Jay Hefe bringing you another banger. Listen, before we even get started, if you're new and you're watching this, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Make sure to turn on all your post notifications so you can get alert every time I release a video so you don't miss out. Listen, today we're going to be doing something a little different, you know what I mean? I'm going to be reacting to a documentary, The Only Drug Lord to Outsmart the USA. Listen, without no further ado, let's get straight into this.
1977. A drug lord makes the United States an offer. Pay me $100 million or I'll poison your country. His name is Kun Sa, and he's not bluffing. At his peak, he controls more heroin than any human being in history. 40% of the product on American streets comes from his jungle labs. 1 in 4 US overdoses traces back to his supply. Emergency rooms from New York to Los Angeles overflow with his poison. But here's what makes this worse. The CIA helped create him. Their covert proxies gave him his first weapons, and their training camps taught him how to kill. Now their monster is holding America hostage. Washington responds with everything. A $2 million bounty, a federal indictment, and the largest multinational drug sting ever attempted. They spend 2 decades trying to destroy him, but he buries them all. Dies in 2007 in a villa with his fortune, surrounded by family. Never spends a single day in an American cell. How did a jungle warlord beat a superpower? And what made him completely untouchable? The Golden Triangle, 1950. Where Burma, Laos, and Thailand collide in a tangle of jungle-covered mountains, there are no laws, only power. And in 1950, power belongs to the Kuomintang. These are the remnants of Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist Chinese army. Over 12,000 soldiers pushed into these lawless highlands after Mao's communists seized China in 1949. They're stranded, stateless, desperate, and secretly funded by the CIA. Washington sees them as a weapon against communist China, guerrillas who can harass Mao's regime from the south. The CIA supplies them with weapons, gold, and military advisors. What Washington doesn't see is a half-Shan, half-Chinese teenager named watching from the edge of every training session, memorizing everything. How to strip and reassemble a rifle blindfolded, how to set an ambush in a dense jungle, how to read terrain for tactical advantage, and even how to turn violence into profit and profit into power. The CIA is training their future nightmare, and they have no idea. Every technique their proxies teach will eventually be used against American interests on a scale no one can imagine.
That's crazy.
By his early 20s, Zhang Qifu commands his own militia. Small, hungry, and dangerous, he starts with protection rackets, extorting opium farmers in remote Shan villages who have no police to call and no government that cares about them. But here's what separates him from every other jungle thug scrambling for scraps in the Golden Triangle. Zhang Qifu thinks in systems. He doesn't just want to steal opium, he wants to control the entire supply chain. From the poppy fields to the refineries to the smuggling routes to the foreign distributors. In 1963, he makes a deal that would define his entire career and change the trajectory of the global drug trade. The Burmese military needs someone to fight communist insurgents threatening the Chinese border.
Oh, what's happened?
Zhang Qifu volunteers his militia. In exchange, the government gives him something priceless: immunity. He can traffic as much opium as he wants with official protection. The Burmese army has just handed a future drug emperor his first license to operate. Within 2 years, his militia has better weapons than the Burmese military itself. He buys black market arms by the truckload, rifles, machine guns, mortars, and trains his fighters with the same discipline he learned watching those CIA-backed KMT soldiers. Locals whisper his name with fear, but Zhang Qifu isn't satisfied with being a regional player. He wants the throne of the entire Golden Triangle drug trade, and in the spring of 1967,
He wants
makes
it
his
all,
move.
you know.
Imagine 500 armed men marching through mountain passes, 300 mules in a line stretching half a mile, each animal carrying raw opium worth a fortune on international markets. Zhang Qifu is sending this caravan straight into territory controlled by the Kuomintang, the same forces who trained him, the same networks that have dominated the Triangle's drug trade for 15 years. He's not just competing, he's declaring war on his former masters. It's either brilliant or suicidal, maybe both. The convoy snakes through jungle trails for days, moving slowly to avoid detection, guards scanning the tree line for ambush. Then, near the Laotian border at Banquan, the jungle explodes, gunfire from 3 directions simultaneously. The Kuomintang have been waiting, and they're furious at the betrayal. But they're not alone. Laotian army units smell the prize too, and attack from another angle, hoping to seize the shipment for themselves. It's a 3-way slaughter for 16 tons of opium.
16
Mules
tons.
collapse in the crossfire. Men scream and fall. Then the Laotian Air Force arrives. Bombs fall from the sky, turning the jungle floor into a hellscape of fire and shrapnel. When the smoke clears, Zhang Qifu has lost everything. His entire shipment, destroyed or seized. Scores of his men, dead or scattered across the mountains. His reputation for invincibility, shattered in a single afternoon. The 33-year-old warlord barely escapes with his life, fleeing into the jungle with a handful of survivors. Meanwhile, his enemies celebrate. The Kuomintang think they've eliminated a rival. The Burmese government decides Zhang Qifu has become more trouble than he's worth. In October 1969, Zhang Qifu steps off a plane at Heiho Airport for what he thinks is a routine trip. But he walks straight into a trap. Security forces swarm before he can react. The charge is treason, flirting with rival rebel groups. He's 35 years old, shackled, and thrown into a Mandalay prison cell. His empire is finished. The jungle prince will rot in darkness for the rest of his life. At least, that's what everyone believes. But Zhang Qifu is about to spend 5 years learning a philosophy that will transform him from a defeated warlord into the most dangerous drug lord in history. What happens to a man who loses everything and has nothing but time to think, and who's planning a kidnapping on the outside that will change everything? Mandalay prison. 5 years of concrete walls and silence. Most men break under that kind of isolation. But Zhang Qifu evolves. He devours every book he can get his hands on, especially Sun Tzu's The Art of War. He writes down the principle that will guide every decision he makes for the next 30 years. In politics, there are no lifelong friends and no lifelong foes. They change according to gains and losses. He has no loyalty and no sentiment. No relationships that can't be sacrificed for advantage. Every alliance is temporary. Every friendship is a transaction waiting to be exploited. He enters prison as a warlord who made emotional decisions. He'll leave as something far more dangerous. A pure strategist who sees human beings as chess pieces to be moved and sacrificed. Outside the prison walls, his most loyal followers refuse to give up. They've been waiting, planning, and watching for an opportunity. In 1973, they execute the most audacious rescue operation in Burmese criminal history. They kidnap 2 Soviet doctors working at a hospital in rural Burma. The ransom demand isn't money, it's Zhang Qifu's freedom. The Burmese government faces an impossible choice: humiliate themselves internationally by releasing a convicted traitor, or let Soviet citizens die and face Moscow's fury during the height of Cold War tensions. They can't afford a diplomatic crisis with the USSR. In 1974, after 5 years behind bars, Zhang Qifu walks out of prison and immediately disappears across the Thai border. The Burmese government assumes he'll fade into obscurity, a broken man grateful just to survive. They're about to learn what happens when you cage a wolf for 5 years, sharpen his mind with military philosophy, and then set him free with a burning desire for revenge and power. Within 2 years, he rebuilds everything he lost and transforms himself entirely. He takes a new name, Kun Sa, meaning Prince Prosperous in Shan. But the name is just the beginning of his reinvention. He declares himself a freedom fighter for Shan independence, a revolutionary hero battling Burmese tyranny. It's a masterstroke of propaganda. The Shan people, an ethnic minority neglected, oppressed, and forgotten by the central government in Rangoon, embrace him as their champion. They don't see the heroin refineries hidden in jungle clearings. They see the schools he builds, the clinics he funds, and the roads he constructs through their villages. Kun Sa has discovered something powerful. Wrap your crimes in a flag, convince people you're fighting for their freedom, and they will die for you. They will protect you, and they will hide you from your enemies. By 1976, he commands a reconstituted army called the Shan United Army. By 1977, he operates from a fortified base at Ban Hin Taik in northern Thailand, complete with barracks, artillery positions, and anti-aircraft missiles.
Yeah, he
Thai
wasn't playing
generals
no
look
games,
the other way because he's useful as a buffer against communist insurgents. The American-trained bandit has become an American-tolerated warlord. But Kun Sa isn't satisfied with regional dominance. He wants the world to know his name, and he's about to make an offer the United States will never forget.
So yeah, man, listen, that was part 1. I'm gonna be releasing part 2 very soon. At the start of the video, they said he used to work with the USA, you get me? So they made him, bro, you get me? They sharpened his skills. They made him realize that, you know, why settle for so little? You see me, I like documentaries like this, you know. It just teaches you about certain histories and what's happened in the past and stuff like that. So yeah, man, listen, if you want me to drop more reactions like this, yeah, just comment down below and let me know, man. But yo, listen, until next time, this is your boy Jay Heffit, and I am out.